Greetings, children of the screen, your friendly neighborhood nerd scum here once again, coming at you with another Real Thoughts video, this time focusing in on Heroes in Crisis #1 by King, Man, and Mori. So guys, what we're going to do here is go through a brief summary of what happens in the story, and then I'll get on to my real thoughts on this particular issue. But keep in mind, as I'm going through this very brief summary, there will be spoilers for this book. So if you have not checked it out yet, go pick it up, read it, come back, check out the video. Right on, so without any further ado, let's dive on in. We open up in a cafe in Nebraska where Booster Gold, who's looking a little bit worse for wear, is getting a bite to eat, and then all of a sudden Harley Quinn appears at the window outside. She is also looking a little bit rough. She comes in and sits down. As she does, the waitress asks Booster, is there going to be a fight? And he unfortunately tells her, yes, there's going to be a fight. But first, Harley wants some dessert. Turns out all they have is peach pie and pudding, so she orders the pie with a little bit of whipped cream, and then confesses to Booster that she has always hated pudding. So after a bit of pseudo-polite conversation during their meal, the fight breaks out. And then from that point on, the majority of this book is dedicated to this fight, wherein Booster and Harley are going at each other for keeps, both of them seemingly blaming the other one for some horrid atrocity. However, then we pick up with Superman, who is flying in over to the area known as Sanctuary, and he's on the comms with Batman and Wonder Woman, and they're all convening there. And Bruce is like, don't touch anything, and Diana's like, Bruce, he knows, chill, like, take it down a notch. But Clark is already there, and what he finds is that all of the patients, all the inhabitants of Sanctuary are dead. They have all been slaughtered, all of them. And when I say everyone, I mean everyone, including OG Wally West, including Roy Harper Arsenal, like some big hitters in terms of like fan favorite characters and stuff like that. They are all dead. So Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman convene there, and Superman's just like, you know, we built this place to fix us, to give us hope, and like now it's just utterly destroyed. And while they're investigating the house, they see a message scrawled on the wall: the Putters are dead. And the Putters is basically a reference to the people who purify steel in the steel making process. It's the name given to people who do that specific thing. They take steel and they like work out the imperfections and make it like strong and deadly and like all the things that you need steel to be in order to make weapons. And so basically the implication is that someone has done this as a way to weaken or to basically disarm the heroes. They're looking for meaning in it all, but Batman says it means what we've always known that it means. Our one last chance for hope has become just another hunt for vengeance. And then finally at the end, we catch back up with Harley Quinn and Booster Gold, who are soaring through the air, and Harley's about to stab him. He says, if you stab me, we both fall. She stabs him, they both fall. And then as they get on the ground and they continue to struggle and pull themselves out of this pond that they've fallen into, it's revealed that they both believe that each of them is the culprit behind the massacre at Sanctuary. And that right there is where this issue leaves us off, guys. Alright, so real thoughts. So first we're going to start off with the artwork. The artwork by Clayman is absolutely gorgeous. Obviously it is. He's fantastic at what he does, and this book does not fall short. All of the heroes look like the most iconic versions of themselves. All of the sceneries and the different locales are perfectly utilized, and the like progression of the linear story art, it really works. Like, it draws you in, it keeps you intensely engaged, all the reveals happen at the right time, it just works. And then the coloring by Mori is just absolutely fantastic as well. The colors really help you move along the kind of emotional ins and out of the story, like just the way that they subtly shift the hues on colors of costumes to give you slightly different feeling in its different panel, like, is really fantastic. And also some of the sceneries, the way that the colors are done in almost this kind of like Norman Rockwell-esque, like idyllic American dream, and then like whenever you, that's like from a distance, the establishing shots, and then you go in closer, and then all of a sudden like all the carnage of the massacre becomes revealed, and it like just changes that image and like inverts it, and like the way that the colors just slightly change with it works so well. The artwork, all in all, guys, is absolutely fantastic. And now for the writing. I've said many times before, because I've talked about Tom King many times in many of these videos, Tom King is a very good writer, and I really enjoy some of his stuff. So yeah, he's clearly a very talented guy and a really good writer, and this book definitely shows that. Even though this is pretty much just a prelude, it's like the setup for the story he wants to tell, it is very, very gripping, and it is very, very enticing. Like, when you're reading it, like, it really pulls you in for the most part. And like just the way that he sets up the different story elements and the way that those things pay off, all that stuff really, really works. And I feel that like if you're someone who's not mired in all the continuity of what's happening in comics right now, like if you haven't really been reading DC very much over the last few months, then like I think this book will really, really work for you. Having said that though, as much as I enjoyed the actual read of the book, Heroes in Crisis is set in the main continuity. And there's a lot of stuff, even in this issue, that we've seen Tom King, throughout his run on Batman, disregard elements of continuity and story and ignore other stories that are happening simultaneously where, like, they're clearly in the same time span for the sake of him setting this book up. So a lot of this book hinges on Tom King giving the middle finger to all the things that we kind of care about in a lot of these characters. So if you're like that, kind of like me, this might be a little difficult for you. Again, before I say anything else negative, I do want to say that like it was well written and I enjoyed it. However, he still has a Booster Gold problem. He is still writing Booster Gold like it is 1988, and that's not cool. Like, again, in this issue, there's not as much of that, but, like, in his little appearance in Tom King's Batman run, it made it very clear that, like, Tom King is either unaware or gives no shits about all the development that Booster Gold has had as a character over the last 10 years. And, like, it's hard to tell in this issue if that's going to stay true, but it must, I'm pretty sure, because, like, otherwise, he can't have Booster Gold, who's clearly going to be one of his main characters, have an arc. Like, because clearly the arc he wants to give him is the arc Booster already has, but he wants to do it in a different way. So that means he had to take it all that away to give him the same thing, and at the end of this, we'll probably end up with Booster Gold as he's been for the last couple of years, you know? Just a more well-rounded hero. But, again, I don't know. It feels like he doesn't really get why people nowadays really still love Booster Gold. Similarly, he's writing Harley Quinn, like, super psycho. Like, not the way Harley's been written, either by, like, you know, Palmiani and Connor, like the team before, or by the guys who've been working on it since, and definitely not like Dini and them. Like, it's, man, I don't know. It does actually feel a little bit like early New 52 Harley, where, like, she's very much still a villain, but, like, you can kind of start seeing the nicer qualities start to emerge. But, like, and again, we only have a prelude to a story here. I don't really know where he's going with these characters necessarily. And also, it's like the house could have affected them, because we also learn in this book that, like, Sanctuary is like an artificial intelligence house, so we'll probably have like some kind of 2001 AI shit going on. But yeah, I don't know, guys. I enjoyed this issue very, very much. I enjoyed the writing of it. I thought it was well written, but Tom King is having his usual Tom King problems on the first issue, and that definitely doesn't bode well. But I think, like, this book, as long as he doesn't go too far off the rails, I feel like maybe in a few years, whenever, like, continuity is not as important to the actual story, it might end up being a good story. This is probably a book that they should have done out of continuity as, like, a Black Label book or something like that, because they kill off all these heroes. And then, like, you just know Booster Gold's a time traveler and all these heroes are dead, so you just know that at the end of the day, he's just going to go through time and fix it all. So it's kind of pointless and meaningless. Like, all the death is shocking and it's gripping, but once you actually step back from reading the book and you look at it, you're like, oh yeah, like, none of that actually fucking matters. Like, none of this whole story is going to matter except for, like, maybe one or two characters who end up going through time to fix it or something. I don't know. So maybe I was wrong before when I said this was going to be more like Identity Crisis, you know? Maybe it is going to be like 0 Hour, a crisis in time, where, like, Booster Gold's going to have to hop around and fix shit. I don't know, man. I enjoyed the book, but, like, it also really, really frustrated me. So, this specific issue is going to be getting 3.5 out of 5 GGs, because, as I said, while it did annoy me in places, I overall enjoyed it while I was reading it, and I think that, like, I'm going to have to wait and see the next issue, or maybe the issue after that, before I can really make a determination on whether this pisses me off, or if I can deal with it. But anyway, guys, what did you think about this issue? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you like this video, please leave a like and share it with some friends. Also, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe and hit that little bell so you can get updates on all the dope content I'll have coming out in the future. Furthermore, guys, if you'd like to follow me on Instagram or Twitter, I will have the links for that in the description below. Right on, guys. I hope you all have a good one. Nerd Scum, out.